Gregg Marsh here from Sandyford Personal Trainer in Dublin. Now tonight I'm going to talk about fasting and the benefits of fasting, how it can help you in your weight loss program. Now what do we mean by fasting? Fasting basically is defined as the voluntary act of withholding food for a specific period of time, and non-caloric drinks such as water and tea are permitted. So in every religion there's been a fasting period. So fasting has been around at least 2,000 years. And in the early 1900s, there was even fasting clinics, certainly in Europe, in Switzerland and in some in America as well. There was actually fasting clinics that were used to help patients overcome certain diseases and chronic illnesses. It was used for diabetes, it was used for cancer, it was used for epilepsy, it was used for basically anyone who needed help with their immune system. Fasting was very, very good for it. There's a large body of evidence and research to support the health benefits of fasting. Fasting has been shown to improve the biomarkers of disease, reduce oxidative stress, and preserve learning and memory function, as shown in the Journal of Nutrition and Biochemistry in 2005. Researchers at the University of Southern California found that intermittent fasting may help to reverse diabetes by reprogramming non-insulin producing cells into insulin producing cells. And the second study of 71 adults, also out of the USC, found that fasting for 5 days a month reduced cardiovascular risk factors, inflammation levels, waistlines and total body fat, but not muscle mass. So the immediate benefits of fasting include lowering your insulin, it activates your fat burning mode, lowers blood sugar, increases growth hormone, it produces ketones, it's very cheap, costs nothing. It also helps your cells initiate important cellular repair processes. The long-term benefits of fasting include reducing stubborn belly fat, particularly visceral fat, reducing your risk of chronic disease, preventing dementia, it's an epilepsy treatment, it's used for reversal of diabetes, and it also has been shown to decrease the size of certain tumours. So you can see from this graph that what happens is when we snack all day is that our insulin levels are constantly elevated, and we want to try and get those insulin levels down so that we can burn fat, because insulin is the fat storage hormone. So if you get insulin down, you have a better chance of weight loss and for fat loss. So first stage fasting, phase 1, will be what's called the 12-12. Basically your last meal at 8 PM and your first meal at 8 AM. So what happens is that overnight your digestive system and your liver and all the internal organs get a rest overnight for at least 12 hours, and this helps to reduce your insulin and also helps to reduce your fasting glucose as well. Now you would do this for a number of weeks, maybe even a couple of months, and get used to it. So you can see from the graph here that we're having 3 meals in the day, approximately 6 hours gap between breakfast, lunch and dinner. And then you're going to have a 12-hour gap between your last meal at night and your first meal in the morning. Now, once you've done that for a period of time and you're happy with it, the next stage is to go to fasting phase 2, which is called 16-8. And this is more of the intermittent fasting protocol, whereby your last meal is at 8 PM and your first meal is at 12 noon the next day. Basically, you skip breakfast. And you probably have 2 meals. You have a couple of hours in between your lunch and dinner, and then you have basically this 8-hour feeding window where you try and get all your calories in for the day, and then you've got a 16-hour fast in between your last meal and your first meal the next day. Again, you would probably do this for a few weeks, maybe even a couple of months. You might do this once or twice a week to begin with, and then maybe 3 or 4 times a week as you get better acquainted with the fasting protocol. The next bit then is the third stage of fasting phase 3. So this is a 24-hour fast. And what happens here now is that your last meal will be at 8 PM at night, and your next meal will be 8 PM the following day. You could do it at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, it doesn't matter. You just basically go with whatever your last meal normally is at, and then you go 24 hours without eating. You can consume water, you can consume tea, you can consume high quality bone broth throughout the day, but no calories are consumed via food whatsoever. Alright, no sodas, no diet sodas. You can have a little bit of coffee if you want to as well, that's okay. But maybe a teaspoon of cream in it or a teaspoon of butter, that's okay. And then you can see here, basically it's 1 meal next day, and you try to get it within a 4-hour kind of feeding window. Basically, if you're having it at 8 o'clock at night, you try to eat it and be done with about 9 o'clock. Okay, fasting rules. Keep calories high during the feeding window. Make sure you eat according to your hunger during the feeding window. If you're hungry, obviously eat. If you're not hungry, then don't eat. Simple. During fast, you can consume water, green tea, herbal tea, bone broth, high quality bouillon drinks, but very important, you must consume Himalayan salt because salt supplies are depleted during fasting and it can cause cramps and other issues. Will you be tired? No, really. Once you've gotten used to the fasting protocol, one of the reasons why we want to go through phase 1, phase 2, before we get to phase 3, is because you're getting used to producing these ketones. These ketones are actually produced by your fat tissues itself and increases mental clarity and energy. You'll be producing adrenaline. This also increases your energy and you can still exercise. I train every day when I fast, no exceptions. Will you be hungry? Not really. Once you're used to the fasting, actually your hunger actually will be suppressed. Fasting actually suppresses your appetite, which is actually quite good. It's in a strange way. If you look at this, the average female weighs about 80 kilos. She's about 40% body fat, which means she's carrying 70 pounds of fat. So if we look at fat, and according to some statistics, 1 pound of fat would have 3,500 calories, which means that your average 80 kilo female has 246,400 calories of stored energy. So what happens is during fasting, your body is actually eating its own calories, it's eating its own fat stores. That's what happens. Alright guys, if you have any questions on this, then comment on this link below or this way, whichever way the comments are, and drop me a question and I'll be happy to answer. This is Gregg Marsh from Synergise Personal Training in Bellarmine, and see you next time.